Chuck Martin is hot, and I don't blame him. But this is also indicative of the tree shaking that we all knew was coming, and it has been coming, and it has been going on in college football basically since we introduced name, image, and likeness as above board. Like, it's going to happen to your program if it hasn't happened already. We've seen this all over the map. The programs that are deciding to throw money at their college football program, those are the ones that are ending up with the players. And while this is happening on a much larger scale at a place like, say, Ohio State, where they were able to bring in Will Howard, who helped lead Kansas State to a Big 12 championship over an undefeated Texas Christian in 2022. Caleb Downs, who is the best Alabama freshman defensive back maybe ever, had 107 tackles, most by a true freshman at Alabama since 1970. Ohio State, Quinshon Judkins, who had the best true freshman season by a running back in the SEC since Herschel Walker when he went for over 1,500 yards. And then you're adding in guys that are already still coming back because they know they can still get paid and they want to go get those gold pants. Jack Sawyer, Emeka Buka, and then you add guys like Jeremiah Smith. You get what I'm saying here. That is when it goes well for your program. When it goes badly for your program, it's when you are one of these smaller programs that is absolutely getting treated like a farm team. So the way in which people want to trump this is Jay Norvell would say that he had Bradley, Nicolosi, Fowler, and Torrey Horton each offered $600,000 to leave. They didn't. They're staying at Colorado State, and they may beat Colorado when they play Colorado in their in-state rivalry game. May not, right? It was a close game last year. That's the reason I'm saying it's May. But we got here because Chuck Martin was apparently doing an interview that wasn't supposed to go the way that it was going, because if you watch the video, it kind of gets uncomfortable real quick when my man gets asked, you lost your kicker, and Chuck Martin, who had led Miami of Ohio to an 11-3 record, their first MAC championship in 2019, lost it just a little bit when he said, look, we ain't losing. We know where he's at. He's at Alabama. Man won a Lou Groza Award last year after making 27 of 28 field goals, 35 of 37 extra points. I got this top 100 superstar ranking coming out next Monday. And even before all this, I had Graham Nicholson as a top 100 player, and you'll see where exactly in that ranking when it comes out on Monday. But this is like right on time, because not yesterday, because we're doing this on a Thursday, we learned that Alabama set a new standard for paying front office members of the college football program. By the way, did you know you had a front office in your college football program? If you don't, you do now. Their general manager is going to make $825,000 on average over the next 3 years. He was offered a cool $1 million to go to USC. What do you think they were offering Graham Nicholson to go to Alabama to make sure that they make all the field goals they're supposed to make? Because we used to make jokes about how Nick Saban can recruit his ass off, but could not bring in a kicker to save his life. And then he said, I'm putting an end to this right quick, fast, in a hurry. Got Will Reichert in there, got on the good foot. But the quote is, but that's college football. This is Chuck Martin. But we act like it's not. We live in a la-la world like, hey, let's not talk reality. I don't know why. I mean, everyone knows what's going on. He claims also that Alabama illegally recruited our kicker and stole him from us, and that's a fact. Maybe, allegedly. I'm sure that there's going to be some digging into this. I'm sure that Alabama has paperwork and all sorts of things to show that they did things above board. But even today, we also learned that Kurt Ferentz is going to be suspended for at least one game because that man apparently illegally recruited Cade McNamara to Iowa. And I'm going, how did that even happen? We all knew he was going to Iowa. Like, where else was he going to go? He fits everything they want to do. They want to dink and dump. They don't want to push the ball down the field, and they don't like turnovers from the offense. That's what Cade McNamara does. Perfect fit for Iowa. I'm curious about how this is going to land for everybody else, because I realize that there's a large contingent of the folks that watch this show. By the way, 66% of the people that watch this show aren't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. It doesn't really even influence what is shown to you on YouTube. Like, there's a whole thing I can go into on this, but what you're doing is helping me, because I just want to win my little national championship, which would be that 100K plaque, and it represents 7 years of me doing this. I realize that there are people that get to 100K in like 6 months. They get there in like 3 months. They get there in a month. that ain't been what I do because I don't make those sorts of unsustainable videos for me. The segments I do for this show look like this one, right? Anyway, I'm saying this is what it's going to be for Miami of Ohio for the foreseeable future. And this is what it's going to be for every other college football program that is not in a Power 4 league. And even those are going to have some tree-shaking eliminations going on here because not everybody is going to have the money to compete to play big-time college football. And for those that say it used to be fair, it used to be above board, it was never fair. It was never above board. This is a lie. We were paying dudes to play at 3 different universities in the early 20th century. Hell, the NCAA was created by Teddy Roosevelt because football players were dying in college, playing the sport. They were stomping each other out, quite literally. Look up Jack Trice. Look up Johnny Bright. Then tell me that you think that this is all above bear and floor and over the bar. Another way I look at this, I even take a look at Oklahoma, my squad. Now, Oklahoma became dynastic. They took the head coach from Iowa pre-flight, fired him, elevated his offensive coordinator, Bud Wilkinson. And what did Bud Wilkinson do? He recruited grown men to play college football. Hey, I heard that you got the GI Bill. 27-year-old, 28-year-old. Would you like to play college football? Hell yeah, I would like to play college football. So we get basically Danny Almonte out there winning championships, and that grows into the kind of program that Barry Switzer could put on the field where he ain't got to do that because the brand is so big. You can go recruit who you want and bring them in. And then the money gets bigger in 1984 when the NCAA was forced to relinquish control of who gets to play on national television, and we get the creation of other conferences. The Big 8 goes away, the Big 12 comes in. The Southwest Conference, disillusion. Same thing happens with the Pac-12 Conference. People just don't want to talk about it this way. I'm trying to put everybody on game because we have history to inform us of what the future is going to be like. One of the things that I pride myself in doing on the show is just being a little bit out in front, just a little bit ahead. I'm going to tell you what's around the corner 3-4 weeks from now, right? My rankings last year, top 25, I had Michigan ranked number 1 5 weeks before the AP and the College Football Playoff Selection Committee decided to do the same damn thing. I'm telling you about what Alabama could be. I'm telling you about what Oklahoma could be. I'm telling you about what Colorado may not be, right? But this is indicative of what I think is going to be a rallying cry for so many Group of 5 programs. They are just going to say, all right, we can't afford to compete anymore. Let's create our own championship for the G5s, which may or may not be a good idea. I think it's a good idea from a competition standpoint because nobody wants to see Liberty getting in over, say, a 9-win Ohio State team, for instance. But I also think that once you take that route, you go FCS, you go NAIA, you take the money that is in hand as opposed to being able to compete for that money that might not come to you, people are going to treat you that way. So how many FCS games do you see on television? If you are a program that wants to be on television for the foreseeable future, you're going to try to find a way to punch above your weight, like Memphis, who's getting $25 million in name, image, and likeness and probably could have held on to Graham Nicholson if he went to school there. Miami of Ohio, not so much. Toledo, probably not. Keep going down the line here. These are going to be the decisions that people are going to have to make. Do you want to risk it for the biscuit? Or do you want to say, we kind of like football, but we don't like it enough to pay Graham Nicholson this day?